This little boat lift almost caused me to tear out this entire dock and start from scratch. Bigger boat required a bigger lift. Bigger lift required some structural improvements on the dock. That led to a need to expand the dock somewhat. Expanding the dock turned into some setback issues. Setback issues turned into me asking the neighbor for permission to do the project in the first place. And then we find out the dock wasn't even built square. Let me tell you what happened. So what I have behind me, that's a 2001 Super Aeronautique. It's a 21-foot long boat and an older ski and wakeboard boat. I knew that we could redesign the dock to accommodate it. This dock originally had a very low-pitched, kind of a tacked-on boat house, so to speak, to accommodate the previous owner's John boat. So very simple. I knew that was going away and we were replacing it, but it really just kind of had a domino effect on the project. Now keep in mind, this boat is 21 feet long, about 91 inches at the beam, and weighs about 4,000 pounds with fuel and whatnot in it. And that was kind of state of the art back in 25 years ago. Today's modern ski and wakeboard boats can weigh 3, sometimes 4 times that. They can be 25 feet long. They can be about a foot wider at the beam. So you can see these things. It's not a linear impact. It's an exponential impact on what it can do to your dock project. So these boat lifts that you'll find on a typical Florida dock, you can see the one back here behind me here, they're designed for different lift capacities. 5,000 pounds is kind of the typical that you'll see, but some of today's larger boats, the Nautique G25, that boat can weigh close to 14,000 pounds. So you might have a boat here, a 5,000 pound lift is perfectly adequate, but if you're putting in a larger boat, you have a much larger impact and a much larger lift required not just of the lift itself and the motor and the mechanisms around that, but also the structure that holds the lift up and holds the dock up. The newer boats can be considerably taller. This boat, if I were to replace this with a G25, I've got to have about 2 more vertical feet in the boathouse here. That has an impact on my roof line. Tying the new roof line into the old roof line could also have some impact. So you can see these things just build upon each other. When I decided to take on the boat project, I started talking to different contractors. Now I've got an engineering and construction background, so I know enough to be dangerous, so to speak. And most of the contractors I spoke with were not interested in coming out here and trying to find a way to modify my existing dock. They wanted to tear it down and start from scratch. That would have all sorts of repercussions beyond cost. I probably spent about $20,000 back 10 years ago on expanding and redoing this dock versus what probably would have been 4 to 5 times that back 10 years ago. Not only would the cost have been much higher, I probably also would have had to relocate the dock because as it stands now, it already sits inside a grandfathered setback from when this dock was originally set up, and my expansion was going to push further into that setback. So I'm now facing some significant issues on this property here that could impact my view from the lake, the amount of shoreline I have. You can see these things. It's just a cascading effect. It's not always obvious when you're first looking at a lake house. To complicate matters, my dock does not run perfectly parallel to my property line. So as the boat dock goes further out into the water, it gets closer to my neighbor's property, and it sits even further into the setback. So you can see how, if I was trying to do this for a 2001 Nautique versus today's, newer Nautiques, that impact on the setback would be even larger. So I finally found the right builder who was willing to come in here and kind of saw my vision and appreciated what I was trying to do as far as keep the dock in its current location, build it to accommodate my boat, and we made it happen, and it was turned out to be a great project. I have a lot of buyers say, we just want to make sure it has a dock. Well, I had a dock, but that dock did not accommodate the boat that I wanted, and all of these things start to tie into each other because it's really about, does the dock fit my lifestyle expectations and what I want to do on this property? So this is part of the due diligence. Quite frankly, it can be difficult to figure all this out on the front end of a transaction when you're looking at a property and trying to make a decision if you're going to buy it, what's the fair price, how far do we go with inspections and that kind of stuff. But these are things you've got to think about as a lakefront buyer to make sure that the property you're getting ready to invest a lot of money into is really going to accommodate your lifestyle, what you're hoping to pull off. This is exactly the kind of thing I help my buyers with when we're looking at waterfront homes here in Central Florida. So if you're thinking about buying, this is one of the questions you should be asking. We're going to talk about some more later on. So like and subscribe, follow us down below, and let me know if you have specific questions, and I love the comments. So thanks for watching. I'm Mike Derenthal. Talk to you soon.